Hey, welcome back. We got a knife here. I thought I was done for the year, but looks like we got lucky enough to get one more in. Did that make it through all the way? Maybe not. Looks like our friend Kane from Grambeau Knives snuck one in here last minute. Just got it through before the end of the year. Let's get into it. This thing's gonna take some good opening because he basically set this up in case it fell into the ocean on the way over from Australia. Let's get it out of this garbage bag here. There it is. Grambeau Knives. Cool. Let's get into it. Oh, looks like we got a little more tape here. Didn't catch that. All right, so this is a very unusual one. This is a prototype from Grambeau Knives, and it's not necessarily going to be made. So if this is something that you see and you really like it, you might need to reach out to Kane yourself and tell him, dude, I saw that thing on Pocket Priorities channel, and that is compelling. Because this is one of only 6 of these prototypes. Barlock Proto, 1 of 6, made in 2024. Oh, that's pretty cool. And it is the Russ prototype Barlock. Never been produced. And Magna Cut, no less. That's pretty nice. That thing feels awesome in hand. That's pretty fantastic. I'm not crazy about the Barlock. It feels a little cheapo there, but this is not, something that we're going to take everything specific here, because this could be adjusted quite a bit for a production model if you ended up making it. A little tight here. Could almost cut yourself because the tip's not super well embedded into the scales. These are aluminum anodized scales, I believe. You can see a little bit of the weight relief done inside. Some liners. Looks like it's running on, is it bearings or is it washers? You would think bearings, but I think it actually might be washers. It feels sort of like washers too. You gotta really whip it. So it might actually be washers. I might have to take this apart and see. It's such a cool design because he's got these like pass-through hardware and stuff. Same as the regular Russ. And now that I'm handling it, this I don't think is the Russ EDC. I'd have to go double check. I'll make sure and have the title right. But I think this is a full-size Russ in a Barlock prototype. I don't think that's the Russ EDC. I think the EDC was smaller. 3 1/4. No, maybe this is the Russ EDC. I'm gonna have to pull up the discussion here. Yeah, I think the Russ EDC, 7.625 inches total, I think is the Russ EDC size, but it just says Russ there. Very interesting. Now I'm super curious if this thing's running on washers or bearings. I'm tempted to try and open it up. It's not the most straightforward knife to open because of the pass-through hardware, but it could be worth it just to see what's in there. Super smooth. And the bug out and stuff, those are running on washers, so it's not like, this design can't run on washers. It's pretty common to do a Barlock on washers. I just would have expected it to not be. But it kind of looks like it has some like thick phosphor bronze washers in there. It's not the skinny, tiny little ones that you get in the bug out either, which, like you kind of always, in order for it to be this drop shut, I always have to have like a tiny bit of wiggle. This thing's pretty darn solid, if not completely. Blade thickness, very interesting. It's not super thick on the blade thickness. I can't remember what the EDC and the Russ were like. You got kind of a 2/3 or 3/4 grind in a stone wash on the blade. Little swedge on the front of it on a drop point style blade. What I don't love, I wish this went out a little further here, is this feels a little skimpy here on the how far out the jimping goes. I wish that ran out a little further before it dropped off. Now you can kind of overdo it, or go into a pinch grip or whatever, and that's fine. But for like where the thumb goes, that spine's kind of falling like right in the middle of my thumb. Interesting. Very cool to see this. Let's do a weigh-in as well. You just got a little bent clip on there. Steel hardware. What do I think this thing weighs in at? I'm feeling like a little heftier than the 20.5, or right in there. Sort of in that 3.5 to 4 ounce range. 3.6. I don't know if I got that accurate because of the case was rubbing against it. 3.615. 3.685. Yeah, right in there. Definitely a lot heavier than a bug out. Now, he also made a couple of these in micarta. So I think he made 6. He was selling 3 of them on his Facebook group, which is how I got it. And I went in on it and he shipped it out. Cost me about 300 and some change. I can't remember exactly how much it was. But interesting knife. I mean, it's really a nice knife. So I assume this was also OEM at Best Tech, as are his other knives. It's really nice for the rollout and hand close, just not drop shutty. But let's see if we can tune it up a little bit. Why not? Might as well mess around here for a minute and see what happens. Not a lot to lose here. See what kind of action we can get out of it. By the way, came with a few other things in here. Some extra springs. I wonder if those are different tensions, like if they're different sizes or if they're just replacement springs. That's cool that those are in there, in case those ever break, the Omega springs. Boy, that thing is, you know what? Is that not... Can't tell if that's even a Torx or if it's a hex. Seems to be a Torx. I feel like I remember this from last time too, where I was like a little confused on that. Okay, it's centered. There we go. But is it loose now? Yeah, got some looseness. That's about as balanced as I think I'm going to be able to get it. It's still a little loose though. Interesting. But it could just be the fact that this might be running on washers. So let's open it up and confirm. Nice big wide hardware there. Same size. It is. Is this gonna open given the lock? Or do I need to do something? I can't remember exactly what you do on Omega. It's been a while since I opened my bug out and sharpened it or whatever. Prefer not to cut myself on this channel if I can avoid it. Does this also need to come out? I think so. Interesting how after that hardware is out, it's still like centered. That's crazy. Okay. We're making progress. I'll go ahead and pause and work on it for a second. Okay, I'm wondering if maybe it's this T8 hardware that also needs to come out for the scale to be removed, because it looks like it probably goes all the way into the liner. Let's see if that does it. All right, there we go. The mysteries of working on knives. Get this out of the way here. Okay, so my gut says we gotta take off the top part as well. I'm gonna just take this over here so I can see it directly instead of looking through the camera. So we probably need to take this hardware out too, which probably requires the same thing here. Definitely not the easiest knife I've ever disassembled, I'll say that. Okay, so we can get that hardware out there. And then this out this way. Boom. Spacers out. And yeah, it is confirmed that it is running on washers there, so that's about as far as I have to go. Was it worth it? Hard to say, but it is confirmed. Cool. So, you know, I'd say the design would probably work even better if it was on bearings. It would probably have even better action. Seems to be like a pretty common theme with the crossbar knives is if you do them with bearings, they're just better. If I can just line all this stuff up. There we go. Get this hardware back in here. Boom. And get it all put back together, which I won't bore you with, so bear with me. All right, and it is back together. It wasn't too bad once I got going and started to understand what I was doing. But definitely not the most intuitive, and that's sort of normal, I think, for bar locks in general. So what do we think? Should you make this knife? It's interesting. It's definitely compelling. It's got some good things going. It's got a magna cut. I think it could be a pretty cool model, honestly. It just grips really nicely in the hand. So I feel like it does knife things really well. You know, sometimes folders sort of sacrifice some of those classic knife things, like the ability to just go after something and not worry about it. And I feel like this, I would just feel very confident, like working with it almost like it was a fixed blade. Just has that feel in hand. Like I'd love to put a glove on and work with this thing, no problem. So for those reasons, I do really like it. I'd say you'd have to really consider whether it makes sense to go with this size, or whether, you know, there might be a size that makes more sense for the, sorry, let me get this out of here. Yeah, it's starting to get going there. Again, might just be out of box, a slightly better knife with bearings. It's pretty darn good. Like, it's definitely got better lockup to be at a similar type of action than my bug out. So maybe it would break in, you know, with the washers and be kind of a special knife here. But maybe bearings would make more sense for like out of box and just the average consumer or whatever. Yeah, I mean, it kind of grew on me throughout the time I've been handling it here. I'm not mad about it. One of the things you may have noticed was under the pocket clip, there were a couple scratches from pocket clips. So, you know, if that's gonna be the case, and this is a prototype, but it'd be good if they just shipped it without the pocket clip on so that that doesn't happen. But aside from that, feels like a great knife. So long video, but kind of a cool look at this prototype here from Grambeau Knives. And yeah, I could definitely see this being a knife that you could just trust and use and be a part of the rotation or whatever. So I think that's about all for now. Please feel free to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care.